Bastian, a 20-year-old boy, meets Sandra, a girl that promises him that during an entire week he will have adventures and a whole new world with the medieval club called Saeculum. He escapes from his father and goes to a trip through an old and unknown forest with Saeculum. They set up a camp in the middle of a valley to start getting natural resources like water or wood. He gets to know Julian and Emma, two old members of the club. In the afternoon, Bastian went with Julian to search for water, but when they were going back to the camp, Bastian found out that Julian wasn't with him. He shouted his name as hard as he could, but he received no answer. He returned to the camp when the moon was rising high up in the night sky. Emma was the first one to go with him, but Bastian never thought she was closer, only to tell him more bad news. The food they had was supposed to last for 10 days, but now it was all full of worms and flies. Jerry, a member of Saeculum, had been trapped in a hole inside the woods and they couldn't bring him up. Charlotte, a woman that told them not to go on with the trip, stood up and said, I warned you about the curse, and even though you continued, I told you the brother of the prince wouldn't let us stay alive in his lands. When Bastian asked her, what was she talking about, she answered, You know, you're standing up on cursed lands. Falinus, the bastard brother of the prince, cursed him, and every soul that stepped on the prince's lands would suffer. He told him that the worms would eat their bones, the rang would take the parts, and finally you will tear apart each other for a single breath when you die underground. Suddenly, a storm started to fall over their heads, and everyone took what they could and ran to the cave that was a few meters apart. In a moment, they were all inside a big rock fall over the entrance, blocking their way to freedom. They spent 3 days without food and water, and only a few oxygen left. Emma found the skeletons of an old war, and was certainly the battle between Falinus and the prince. Bastian regretted everything. He wanted to be out and find Julian, or to be out and eat. He was sleeping when he deadly shout woke him up to see himself taking Emma by her throat to kill her. He let her go and stepped back. Charlotte pushed him away and said, Now you're part of the curse. If you were not, you will have to prove it. I don't know what are you talking about, said Bastian. The only way to free ourselves from the curse is through you, answered Charlotte. You are a bastard son, don't you? She laughed, and everyone except Emma took him and made him stay still. The last thing he saw was the smile of Charlotte and the feeling of a blade in his heart. When he woke up, everything was dark, was cold. He thought he was blind because he wasn't even able to see his own hand. He touched the floor, trying to figure out where she was, where he was, when he felt something smooth and wet. He heard a sticky laugh murmuring in his ear, and the feeling of cold and dead flesh under his fingers made him believe on what he was. He was dead with Falinus laughing beside him.